Hey, Derek here from Never Repeat Games. Just want to give you a quick overview of Dead at 17, The Battle for Darlington Hills. This is a deck building game based on the popular Image comic book by Josh Howard named Dead at 17. So in that comic book there is a epic struggle of good versus evil, and the war is over human souls and the earth itself. So in this world you have the star Nara, who's from Darlington Hills. She has her own starting deck, along with her friend Hazy, comes with her own starting deck, and another character in the world that's participating in the fight, Asia. She has her own starting deck. The evil players, they have Pitch, they have one of the demons, Bullabog, and another one called the Witch Queen. So, how it works is, in a two-player game, you'll have one of the three good players versus Pitch. In a three-player game, you'll have two good players versus Bullabog, who's a slightly more powerful starting deck. And then in a four-player game, you'll have all three good players versus the Witch Queen, who has a really powerful starting deck, and she really boosts the power of all the cards that end up in her deck. So if you've never played a deck building game before, how it works is every player starts with their own deck of cards, and then you use those cards to do something in the game, and then also purchase more powerful cards, and they all go into your discard pile. Once you've exhausted your deck, you shuffle your discard pile and it becomes your deck again. And so you're constantly acquiring better cards and putting them in your deck, and then eventually you want to run through it so you can draw them again. And then also in this game there's mechanics for you to get rid of weaker cards so that you're drawing to those more powerful cards faster. Everybody starts with a 10-card deck, and then they draw 5 cards to start. In the evil decks, there are minions made up of undead, humans, and demons. The demons are from hell, and the humans are people on Earth that they were able to convert to their cause, along with spells and tricks. And then in the good player decks, there are 3 types of attacks. You have a magic attack, a ranged attack, and a melee attack. The war happens throughout the city of Darlington Hills, and 3 of the locations in the game are Nara's house, the Darlington Cemetery, and Dargo's mansion. Dargo is another evil human who helps the demons to their ultimate cause. So, the evil player will summon out their minions to locations, and they'll try to harness their power there. What they're trying to do is, once they've coalesced enough power, they'll open a gate to hell. If they can open up 2 gates, the evil players have succeeded and won the game. Stopping them are the good players. They use the attack cards out of their hand and the tricks that they acquire from the deck to defeat the minions, all while at the same time charging runes. They'll charge up these runes that'll help banish the evil player. So once they've charged one rune, they'll flip over the next, and it'll have abilities on it that will trigger when it's charged. After the final one's charged, that will now pull the evil player into play, and now the good player will have an opportunity to damage them and banish them permanently. So while these are happening, while their 2 goals are going against each other, they're playing the cards that give them supply. The supply allows them to purchase the more powerful cards, and on these cards, they're split. The top part of the card will be a more powerful effect or ability, and on the bottom will be a weaker one, and they'll be for the opposite players. So the top card for this one's evil, and the bottom is good. And then the deck's split so that there's lots of different effects, and the cards are split even, and they're just each have an inverse power ratio. So a really weak card can be a really powerful card for the opposite player. And so when you're purchasing cards, you can go with a defensive route and buy a very cheap card for your deck that might fit for your like a theme you're trying to go for, and it will also take away a more powerful card for your opponent. And it happens on both sides. And sometimes you'll just want to buy a more powerful spell or ability if you can afford it. The players start with a spec card, so that they'll be able to choose between the magic, ranged, or melee to focus on if they want. and then the evil players will be able to choose at the beginning of the game whether they'll want to focus on humans, undead, or demons, and they can have boosts for those characters. There's power tokens for when the power's harnessed. There's damage tokens for when the evil minions take damage. So the deck is 108 cards, and they each have 2 abilities on them. And if you can't afford any of the cards in play, there's a stack of cards that are always available. The one for the good side helps you charge runes, and then the evil one is the only way to add toughness to an actual minion in play. So that's a quick overview of the game. Check out more about it on the Kickstarter page. Back it if you can. Thank you for your time.